team just getting obliterated. So Foot Esports is a surprise to me, so it's a couple who doubted themselves, but at least for them they are in the same this region or same vicinity, so they probably have scrimed against each other.
Very familiar with. Whacker is now just whack. Hopefully we're not gonna get some whack gameplay from him. Hopefully we get some. Well, unless he uses his name as a mean to say something really cool, then I hope we get to see some whack gameplay. Next is in the jungle, Kurai and Kun Pepper. We see a lot in the international scene.
Doesn't sound like it's from that region, but then again, surprise. Rolls off the tongue.
It's crisp and it's clean. Let's see if they can translate. They have very.
Their beats?
Yeah.
One of the figures are very separately, so yeah, they. Maybe when it's time to actually play the game, it's probably when they pair it. I guess when it comes to draft, you really don't have to. Again, these are just speculations. We're not saying that it is the case, guys. So we're just surprised that we have not seen a team play headsets for a very long time.
Yep. Unless that's their thing, maybe. We're finally in the draft. Thank you all for your patience. We got to see the teams test their things. Got to remind you what it's all about. Remember, first place at Games of the Future 2026 was $315,000 US, and we are currently in the group stages where it is double elimination. Benerick and Uranus are the bands here for Foot. They look like they want to play around the trade of Atlas, Valentina. Remember the Marcel is still open and could be rush picture for Foot if Bushido Wildcats overlook it. Lots of big picks available as Foot just decided to lynch on the Benerick band. Let's see if they're willing to pick Atlas over Marcel, or if they're just going to go ahead and pick up the Marcel themselves with a Valentina still open.
This is an interesting draft to say the least. I feel like by eliminating two of the reliable tanky dudes, possible XP laners, there's also a potential for Foot Esports to prioritize their EXP lane, like the Barretts, for example. With the Marcel and the Valentina, as you mentioned, being open, you want to really prioritize the Valentina, I feel like. But at the same time, wait, what's that? Already picked a girl. But yeah, at the same time, the Marcel is just, yeah, that's right. The Marcel is just way too good. Like, even if you give away the golden hour, you don't give away the passive, which I feel like has more use cases than the golden hour because of how strong the frame moment could be when it comes to team fights.
Yeah, we've seen it there many times ever since Marcel started creeping up to the pro scene. Well-timed frame moment, very disruptive for team fights. And of course, with his passive and then activating a second skill, he's just really annoying. That's why I've always called him a mosquito and will never step away from that description of the hero. It does feel like you're going up against a mosquito that loves to take pictures of you when you least expect it. Valentina, as expected, is to pick up 4 Bushido Wildcats to be able to steal away the golden hour, while the Esmeralda. Remember, Marcel can give shield to the lowest health ally, that includes himself, and that's how they get to move around the golden hour. And Esmeralda, always very happy to go up against heroes with shields.
Marcel hates playing against Esmeralda because Marcel is a hero that is reliable, that is reliant on his resistance than its HP. So it gets tanky by being hard to pierce through, but when it comes to raw HP, it's pretty low. So Esmeralda can cut through those shields, and that should be enough for them. And with the penetration of the Valentina as well, this Marcel is not always going to be fit for work. However, I like the response here for Esports. They've taken this Barretts very strong here in the metagame, and of course the Nolan. But I'm not sure how good the synergy is between the three heroes that they have. Surely the Bats plus the Nolan, there is some synergy out there. When the Detona's Welcome lands, you can burst the target down easily with the Nolan combo. But between Marcel in combination with the Bats, I think it's questionable. So we'll see how they operate with this one. But Redmar,
here we go.
Our favorite. Here we go. It's the Melissa being picked up by the Wildcats.
So far, Melissa is looking like to be the hero of the first day of the tournament. Maybe we'll check in with our boys in the fellow and get in on the other broadcasts to see if that's the case also with them. And that might mean that we've seen the meta evolve in another way, where he fought for a lot of priorities for like Rara, Fannies. Of course, they're banned here, but then that opens up the path with picking around specific EXP laners and gold laners and evolving from there. Barrett still has a very strong gravitational pull towards this meta and how you decide to play around it or against it. Meanwhile, the Melissa, especially in this game, does not have to worry about pokes just yet. Let's see if Foot Esports will play into picking up the Farsa yet again, just as a means to reach this Melissa, or do they have another way to solve this Melissa problem? Because they themselves banned out the Harley, considering that Bushido Wildcats do not have a jungler just yet.
No. And the Cloud being banned, that also means that this is a identifier that the Bushido Wildcats really do want to activate this Melissa. Maybe they will consider Clint or Brody as their next ban. Foot Esports, I'm gonna be looking for another strong side laner. Yep, the Brody is there. There is an option where they go for the Paquito, but that means that they will just feed so much shields to the Esmeralda, so they might not consider that at all. Whereas Bushido Wildcats, they themselves can get that Paquito from the jungle role, obviously. Whenever there is a Nolan that relies heavily on physical damage, the shielding coming up from the Paquito at the jungler can also be considered. So I will not erase the fact that this could be a fourth pick Paquito here for Bushido Wildcats if they can play it, because I'm not entirely sure if they're familiar with that hero.
Paquito jungle, let's see. Going up against Nolan, they will get that strong burst. I will make one simple request. Can someone... Foot! You guys have a great lineup. You know, theoretically, and I'm not just saying this because she's my bias and she's my go-to gold laner pick, can you consider maybe picking up a Beatrix? No, Beatrix, give her Bennett, rush the Malefic Gun, give her round attack speed. That way you'll have reach, strong burst, consistent burst, because once you have like two items, the fast attack speed of Bennett actually really hurts, and you have ultimates that will be able to keep the Melissa at bay, because once you drop the go away, that's where you drop Bennett's rage. But it could just be like wishful thinking here. Let's see. Still a great lineup here by Bushido Wildcats, building around their Melissa. But he's also looking for a solid gold laner and mid laner.
Yeah. That's against this Marcel. And I think it's more of whoever pops the ultimate first loses the team fight. I feel like between the teams, because the golden hour can be countered by the fatal links, vice versa. It's going to be the Moscow, so a little bit greedy here coming out of Esports. They need some weight here from long distance. I think the Parsa just makes total sense. In this scenario, up against this Melissa, you really need some nuke damage rather than just normal burst down damage like your Selena. So yeah, Eudora, considerable nuke. Mosa does not give an ultimate that is good for this Valentina to pick up. Overall, a good pick here for Esports. Now the Wildcats, they'll be looking for their jungler. Still looking at the Paquito, but maybe a Suyu actually from their point. That could be another option for them.
Yeah, they only have the Eudora in terms of magic talent to worry about. So it's fine, really. It's mobile. Gets to do damage, gets to shred. You have the Melissa there anyway, so they can feed off of each other with their damage profile. Could be good. Great call there, Wolf. Gets the Suyo in for Bushido Wildcats. Still they're building around this Melissa, but they have options for early to mid. Meanwhile, for esports, we have seen a Melissa lineup go up against a Moscow lineup, and if the same thing happens and you don't get that Melissa down fast enough, the Moscow will not be able to have enough space and time to deal the damage. Which draft do you favor heading into game number 1 here?
Yeah, just to build up on what you said, I would say it's the Melissa with the Atlas that will have an easier time. And the thing with Suyo is that it's almost like it's not a utility jungler per se. It's almost like more of a fighter jungler than it is an assassin jungler, which kind of tells me that it has some ways to stay in the fight, get in and out of the fight. It's not easily burstable. So that kind of means that this Melissa will actually be able to shine. So in that regard, I would say that this is red side team side, because the Wildcats have managed to build around this Melissa, and I think that it will be useful against the Esports. Maybe the only thing that I am worried about is that this Golden Hour plus versus the Atlas is more of a case-to-case basis on who can win. To answer your question, I think it's the Bushido Wildcats who's got an easier to execute draft.
I agree with you there, but of course it is important to look for the nuances that you all mentioned, the little details. The also favorite thing we'd love to say, it's depends on how you execute it, you know, at what moment do you find your place, and Gotf and Psyche against Karai and Numb at the center of the map. Very aggressive with their lane trading or clearing the minion waves. Well, up top so far, RX doing relatively well up against Sunshine's Melissa. We're gonna have to look for X factors here. I might look at number 1, of course, the Barrett of XC. The timing of when he decides to go in the fight, who he catches with death and as welcome, and of course Karai on the Valentina, and which ultimate most likely the Golden Hour, and when he'll be able to maximize it.
Now when it comes to like maximization, it's gonna be up to Foot Esports how they can pave the way for this Eudora to eventually be the threat to the Melissa. Because I think, judging from the heroes that they have, Foot Esports only has that tool to make it so that the Melissa will be threatened. Once the Eudora is eliminated, this is free game for the Melissa. Every time that there's a team fighter, there's no threat against the Melissa, it's gonna be easy for the Bushido Wildcats.
Perfect match entry with the Volley Star Moon as well. The turtle very low, but both junglers have been split up from the fight. It's Nexus who falls down first. Kazuma gets to escape with a slap. That thing goes to assist, but it's not going to be able to land. The Atlas falls. Foot Esports win the turtle unexpectedly after both junglers get split up from the major objective.
And Psyche just played that so well. Imagine this almost had perfect. Now he's up to the top lane. Again, the threat to the Melissa, that's how you answer it. This Eudora has been so good and has been so consistent. And look at him, he's not even taking damage at all.
Completely safe. 1-0-1 for Psyche. Well-timed rotation up top. Alongside the rest of the team. And of course, RX read into it really well. Brought the Melissa low before the rest of the team arrived. The finisher off. Sunshine is back. It's really bad for the Melissa. Another combo coming in from the Eudora. It's the death number 2 for Sunshine. And it lands. VSOD from the Moscow of RX. Foot Esports are going to be happy with the kill on the Melissa. They decide to back off. That's the way. Weaving in and out. Quick up sentry. Not once again. Trying to get the play for Bushido Wildcats, but it was too expensive for him to use. The fatal links. He entered from out of nowhere XC with the flicker death and a welcome. Capping it off. Foot Esports showing their dominance against the Wildcats. They have no kills.
And you know what's really good about this for Foot Esports? Somehow they managed to feed 4 kills for their Moscow in there. And how good is that this Moscow will have so much of a lead over the Melissa or the Corrosion side at 4 minutes in with additional items. It's not just the corrosion sight. It is corrosion sight plus 2 items that I wasn't able to really see. But this is such a good start for Foot Esports. I don't think that any team with a Moscow could have started a game like this. 4-0 for the gold laner that we said needs a lot of gold just to get by this Malaysia matchup.
There they go again. They might be able to add more to the kill count there, but RX gets stove on the perfect golden hour. But Bloodfit, RX still decided to fight into this, but now Bushido Wildcats have to run away. Flicker along with the snap to get a stun off and immobilize on the Nexus of Sunshine, but for the Esports will be happy with what they could get. It looked terrible for RX, but a slight bit of brilliance from him means that for the Esports are happy with the start that they've had for their gold laner. A chase onto Contempor.
I am just amazed how Foot Esports somehow find some openings. Maybe it's because Bushido Wildcats are so desperate into punishing RX. Eventually they want to stop this Moscow from farming. That's why they're also putting their bodies up top. But then they get punished by Foot Esports. The first one having Eudora up there, and then XE finding the flicker. They told us welcome in the fight thereafter, allowing for RX to have so much in the early stages of the game. Bushido Wildcats are in big trouble right now. They will now have the corrosion sight on the Melissa, but this is in no way, shape, and form a Melissa that is fight ready.
Seems like the perfect way to describe it. Desperate are the maneuvers of Bushido Wildcats in the past few minutes. They've lost their window. They will have to delay this game as long as they could. The questionable re-entries from Numb. Of course, now even if you get a great fatal links, it might not be the best call as you are up against a Barrett. You will have to spend a lot of resources just to take down one of the two frontliners in Bloodfest and XE. During that time, you can easily get bursted down by the Nolan and Eudora. Seems like Bushido Wildcats, everything has gone wrong for them, and Foot Esports are on the way to potentially perfect entry and win by XE. The Flickers are just as welcome again, doing really well for Foot Esports. Contempor was in the back, but he knew that he had to back off. He could not do much, and they chase down Nexus right under the second tower. The members of Bushido Wildcats are getting feasted on by Foot Esports, and you can see just how well Foot knows Bushido. They've swept them twice in MTC Season 7, and in this game, they have their number. The Bushido Wildcats finally got on the board with a kill out of Bloodfit, who was trying to keep the other members of Bushido Wildcats at bay as Psyche and RX try to finish off the tower in mid. They're not going to be able to, but at that point you can just walk up to it, base attack it twice, and you should be fine. Kazuo gets the turtle for free.
Oh, the initiations coming up from Foot Esports. So you can see that Daytona's welcome in the flicker. Perfect entry. Finding the members of, finding the right members of Bushido Wildcats. Even the stun coming up from RX is so dependable, and of course it's Eudora with the flicker plays, catching off guard the members of Bushido Wildcats, because why would you think that the first one to go in? Foot Esports are just on a different level right now, and they're just literally outplaying the Wildcats.
You can have a really good lineup, but how do you execute it? That was the big question that we had. But Esports are answering. They are better at executing. They are dissecting the members of Bushido Wildcats. Even beneath the turret, nowhere is safe at this point. They have an almost 10,000 gold lead. They are doing everything perfectly. And the Wildcats cannot find an angle to answer.
How can they get through Bloodfest now? This was a Thunder Belt. And how can they stop RX 5-0-3 on his Moscow? Nexus, the last big Soyu, has not found an opening yet against the opponents. Bushido Wildcats are just completely lost in this game. And the reason why that is because of their overcompensation of the resources up top. Earlier into this game, they put so many bodies into the top lane that they only ended up feeding that into the 4 kills of RX.
Another one. Easy catch. Numb gets taken out. And in some ways, this all started when Numb decided to re-engage alongside Kuntepper up top, and we thought that Bushido Wildcats had enough of Foot's attempt to get even more kills. But because they re-engaged, they got even more kills. Because it was just burst in sunshine like that! You not missed it! That's how we know he's just gotta go next at this point. Bushido look completely out of their element.
That is so bad. And I'm telling you, Mark, all these Barrett players in the international scene, they're just so sneaky with it. They're just so good. I mean, I think all the good Barrett players out there, like the likes of Turkie, we saw even Loopy, has specific moments in the game. Bomba, phenomenal Barrett player. They make it look like the Barrett is very sneaky. And I feel like whenever there is an underperforming Barrett, that kind of performance always floats and always gets magnified because of how good the other Barretts will be. So it's just like the standard for playing the Barretts has increased so much, especially the Sneaky Barretts gameplay.
Sneaky Barretts, who thought a large big boy could actually be played so sneakily. Yeah, the EXP laners have done a terrific job. XC, of course. No, and that's just kind of what he's done in this game. Perfect. Freezes coming in from Blackhead in this Marcel. Bushido Wildcats look like they got lost in the sauce and they're not ready to deal with Blackhead, and it's a correction fatal links, but the golden hour stops the response, delays it instantly. Numb gets taken out. Kuntepper falls. That's 2 kills for RX. And this is a go next moment. Triple kill for RX to close things off. Dominant for Foot Esports.
15-1 the kill score between the two teams. They did say that we favored the composition the Wildcats were able to make, but in the first few minutes of the game we already saw how good Foot can be when it comes to their execution. And it took so much coming out from the Bushido Wildcats. They felt very desperate to compensate for the top lane problems that they're facing with the Melissa versus that Moscow matchup. They ended up feeding so much. The Utora in the early stages was so active from the turtle fight when both teams just decided to zone out the junglers of the opposing side. The Utora came up on top, traversed the map from the bottom up to the top to get more for his team. Everybody's just so active in this lineup of Foot Esports that it felt like it's just a one-sided affair from minute 1 up until the end.
It was such a tough time there. And you can't even just say like it really began from them not being able to readily handle this Marcel. Though there is it did play a huge factor, of course, but I feel like they weren't also just ready to handle with the tankiness of the Barretts. It was this play right here. It was the re-engage that we'll see when Numb hits level 4. I don't know if we'll see that exact moment. Should be coming up in just a bit. There it is. Hits level 4. He decides to re-engage. But at that point, Nexus and Karai were slammed out. If he was styling it for the Kuntepper, great, but at that point, that means the Barretts is also on the way, so...
Yeah.
You mentioned desperation. I like the idea, and I like that place where they overcompensated for their losses. Like, really wanted to get some, but in all attempts, they got nothing, and they got punished for it.
Yeah. The Fatal Links capture by the Purifier. And there's also so much that you can do with the Barretts with the flicker. Before then, we saw XC just delaying the flicker up until the last moment. So you'd think it would be able to dodge the bonus welcome, but it ended up hitting because of the flicker play. And you see that Eudora with the flicker then to eliminate the Soya with the ultimate afterwards. And there will be another kill that they were able to get because of that stun coming out from RX. So, Esmeralda finally gets out, but yeah, they did eventually kill the one and clear the turret.
This When Esports ending the game quickly and with a lot of kills over this. It has to be a big bounce back here for Bushido Wildcats. Major recalibration for sure, because it has to be a really honest team conversation at this point, it feels like, where you just have to admit, guys, they play way better than us, we're overcompensating. In terms of the micro, they're all individually doing something great. Everyone just needs to like relock in. Again, we have some members here, of course, Sunshine, especially for Bushido Wildcats. But that really feels like it's going to be a tough moment, a tough hill for the entire team to take. If